And welcome back. We have Rick Surrency, the school board superintendent, in the studio this morning. Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Good morning.
Big meeting at 3 and at 3:30 today. Special meeting at 3.
Yes, good morning. We have a special board meeting that was called at 3, and then our regular school board meeting at 3:30. And at 3 o'clock, there'll be on the agenda is about whether the school board will pay 12-month employees to be trained for the Guardian program. And at 3:30 is when on the agenda, the big thing on the agenda is the school board will still have the opportunity to decide which safe school option they're going to choose. So again, I want to underline the fact that we have not implemented any of the options yet. That's why I'm encouraging the school board to make a decision today. And at the 3 o'clock meeting is about people that are being trained by the sheriff's office to be guardians. This does not obligate our school board to choose a guardian program, but because of the time element, we felt it was necessary to take advantage of the opportunity the sheriff offered to train these people, and so we could be prepared.
All right, I have a question. If they're on a 12-month salary, is this being done during that time period, or is it being done in after hours?
It's being done during the workday. During their workday.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know where my head went, but I can keep my mouth shut for a change.
Well, and it's classified as when people are trained in the school system, it's classified as temporary duty elsewhere.
You're right.
And and that's normally authorized for training. So that's.
Would they? All right. Would they, if they went for a training for anything else, would they be paid extra?
No, not extra. No, it's part of it. If they're being trained during the day, that's their normal salary.
All right. That's
right.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, there's no additional cost to the school district at all. That's the point I want to underline.
No, that's nice.
Yeah, and
then why would you pay them extra?
We're not paying them extra.
Isn't that what they're wanting?
No.
Oh, okay, then I'm misunderstanding totally then.
No, they're saying, the issue today is some board members raised an issue about should these people be trained while we're paying them a regular salary.
Oh, okay,
on
I'm
their
sorry,
regular
I'm sorry.
salary, not additional money at all.
Okay, I'm
Absolutely
with you
not.
now. I was not with you.
Right. No
Okay.
addition, not a single penny is going to be charged to the district for
So
the
the
training.
cost is in the training.
Yeah, the cost is in the sheriff's office.
And their time as school board employees doing something else is where the cost is. Now, I don't know what 12-month employees do. I know what administrators do, but...
Well, those are mostly administrators.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And again, the idea of them training now in the early part of the summer are that administrators and other 12-month employees are getting ready for the next school year.
And they're busy.
Right. They're busy throughout the summer, but it's best if we can go ahead and get the training done now. When it really gets busy in July, that's when we start doing the hiring, scheduling, getting ready for the school year, everything you can imagine.
Yeah,
and they're doing that now.
Yeah, but July is just like a hotbed.
Yeah, July is a very important month for getting ready for the next year. So we're trying to get it done now. If we waited till later, we may not have this opportunity. So
I get it now. I was not following, and I apologize.
So will it happen today?
Will what happen?
The decisions.
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean,
aren't they down to a deadline though? What the governor said they have to do?
Well, the deadline is we have to have schools covered with someone who is armed by the first day of school.
All right, let me ask you this: if it's not done, is there a penalty?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, we're basically breaking the law.
Well, I just have been told that there was a major fine coming down if you didn't do it, but now that didn't come from anybody with any credibility.
I can't answer that as far as what the Department of Education or whoever. But bottom line is, it is a moral obligation now.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, that we protect our kids. Breaking the law is one thing, and we all want to abide by the law. The bottom line is, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when we're going to have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be prepared. I feel it is my obligation and duty as superintendent to make sure we have someone that is going to be in every school to protect our kids.
Oh, I happen to agree with you. So,
yeah. And whatever that looks like, but I feel very strongly that we have an obligation to our kids and our teachers to make sure that we make some decisions. Indecision is a decision not to...
Yeah, not to. And how do you tell your kids that they have to obey the law when they're not?
Right. Right. So, again, we've explored a lot of opportunities. There's been a lot of discussion, a lot of workshops. We've had a task force appointed to come back and give a recommendation. All this has happened over the last 3 months. It is time to make a decision.
Yeah, it's time. You
Right.
got to do something.
Right.
And from the people that I have heard from that have come to the station and we've talked about, that's what they're all saying. You've got to make a decision and take your stand now, and you got to quit playing, wishy-washy to the kids
These
about
poor
the
kids and what they have to feel, because even if you're in a school,
In our day, the worst thing you got was expelled, and then you had to face your mom and your dad.
Oh.
Now it's a whole lot different.
Yeah, it's a different world, and we just have to reassure our kids that they're going to be safe, because it's hard to teach kids, and kids learn when they feel like they're not safe.
Are all our all our schools been hardened?
For the most part, I mean, they're still doing additional things. I mean,
Okay.
without getting into confidentiality, we're working on things like fences and single.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking about,
Yeah.
fences.
Yeah, and they're just being upgraded, and there's other aspects of that. People are talking about, metal detectors and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of cost to that. Not only
There
not
are
only
too, there are too many
equipment.
things that set metal detectors off that a girl would normally have in her pocketbook.
Well, it's not only
Yeah.
that. People don't realize when you have a metal detector, you have to have additional staff.
You have to have somebody to man
it.
it.
And
You
the
got
way
to have
that-
at least 2 people.
Right, and those are not effective when you've got dozens of entrances into your school too.
Mhm.
I mean, somebody could throw something over the fence and retrieve it later. So there's a lot of holes in that. I'm not saying that cannot be done, but it's going to be a combination of things.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be no one thing is going to do it. It's going to have to be a combination. And I can remember the first time I drove up to elementary school, and there were fence all over the place, and I didn't get it. And the principal was a friend of mine. I said, "What?" And they literally had some man they couldn't keep off campus, so they just locked the campus down.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, makes sense.
Well, we've got a lot of security procedures in place. Believe me, we practice them all the time, and we are getting very good at that. But again, there's nothing that replaces having those relationships with kids.
Oh, I agree.
So kids will come and tell you if they know of a problem or if there's something that's been posted on social media.
We just have to act on it.
Yeah, and we are very good at when we get information, we act on it immediately. So kids are our best defense, really. They keep us informed because they trust us. They want to be protected.
Yeah, they do. And I think the kids, in Parkland, the kids all knew who.
Yeah.
They didn't have to wait to figure out who did it. They all knew who did it. And I don't know. I think the other school shooting, they didn't quite get it all. They didn't have that warning that they had at Parkland.
Well, we are in the process right now in our district office doing some reorganization and really beefing up our student services department. And we're in the process of hiring mental health people, additional mental health people, because and that's required by law too. And we're given funds by the state to do that. But we're in the process of addressing the mental health issues.
And it is a big issue. I have a daughter-in-law that's a guidance counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And over the summer, before any of this happened, we talked about the things. And she said, well, a pile of paperwork. But she says, I'm amazed at the amount of time that I need, don't always have, for counseling. And the need's there. And she said, yeah, she's the only one in the school that's a counselor. And she said, we need more.
Yeah. Counselors have so many things put on them, scheduling and all this kind of stuff. And we're just trying to put additional people in place that can, address these issues when kids have problems.
And some kids just have problems, and if you sit down and talk them out now, they don't grow into these big, ugly things.
Right.
So they need the help.
Well, again, we think about kids that have problems. Everybody in the world has issues, and the way we react to them, it's like it's not what's wrong with someone; it's what's happened to someone.
And why they're headed that way, and it may just be the simple fact that they need to know that somebody cares,
Mm-hmm.
and that caring alone will help that.
Folks used to talk about these issues at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to that.
Well, yeah, they did. Back when we had dinner tables and we sat down. We, as growing up, sat down at the dinner table every night.
Oh, yeah.
And we discussed what was going on. And
That's a great point, because when you can't come and talk that out, then it's going to come up somehow.
it's going to come out. And we always talked about it. And we talked about friends and all that. And I got a letter from a friend about 10 years ago that I'd gone to high school with. And I hadn't heard from her in years. I didn't even know where she was. And out of the clear blue, I get a letter. And she talked about the influence that my parents had over her, that I had no idea. Her parents were divorced, and she didn't know what a marriage was until she started hanging out at my house.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you got to realize how much that taught me because I found out what it was about.
Well, every kid needs an important adult in their life. It might be a parent, it might be someone else's parent, it might be a teacher, it might be anybody.
That's right.
They've got to have an important adult that they can go to and they trust if they have a problem. I can't stress that enough.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. They've got to have somebody. And when you see a child that is a horrible loner, I mean, those are the ones that you need to go make friends with.
Yeah, those are kids who may be victims of bullying, or they're having some issues, and
I don't know how that will ever stop bullying. I think bullying's been going on since Adam and Eve. Kids bully, and I'm sorry that they do, and it is a problem.
Well, again, that's the case where kids need to have somebody who they can go to if they're having a problem, because if they're alone, then that's when
You have problems.
that's when bad things happen. So.
Do we have anything else on the agenda today?
Well, positive things. We're recognizing some of our athletes. I believe Interlochen High weightlifting student who went to the weightlifting state weightlifting, and our Palaca High track team is being recognized. And of course, a number of business things are being taken care of, but we're always trying to accentuate the positive, and always focusing on improving our graduation rates.
And they went up this year.
Yeah, and again, the official graduation rates have not been announced. They don't announce them until the fall, but we do have preliminary projections, and that's, I want to underline preliminary. It's not official, but we're projecting that our district graduation rate will be above 80%.
That's wonderful, because I can remember when it was 50.
Well, it's 54 just 3 years ago, and every year we're moving up. So people are looking at that, and that's just a barometer of how well our district's doing. So
I think
a lot of hard work going on with it.
There is a lot of hard work, a lot of great new teachers that have come in, and I love seeing kids that have graduated 5 years ago and they're back here teaching now.
Right.
Coach
Yeah.
Fells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get the football guys in here, and because it's gotten to be fun. Well, we've got Pooh Bear and Fells playing against each other, and Willie Offers somewhere else in the district, and so it's enjoy. We have a good time with that here. And
Well, as
we
an
get 'em in.
educator, that's the most gratifying thing to see. All those guys were in school, back
Well,
when
see,
I was.
not only were you an educator, you were a coach, so
Yeah,
you
right.
worked with those boys.
But to see those guys come back, and guys and gals come back
Yeah.
and give back, not only in education, just in our community. We have so many people that are giving back. That's what makes our community great.
I think we have and I don't have the name in front of me, but I think the new girls softball coach in Palatka is a Palatka at the college is a Palatka High graduate.
Yeah, and the new one at Palaca High.
I don't know who that one is.
That's Brandy Maladruco.
Okay.
Um,
Maybe that's the one they were telling me, because that was
yeah,
the last
she's a
name.
Palaca High grad. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, we've got a lot of former students coming back, and they've got roots here. They're not leaving. They're going to be here
And
a
I
while.
love that. I'd love to have gotten my boys back, but
Yeah.
so I'm good. I'm glad to see that.
It's good to see kids grow up, pay taxes, take care of their parents like you and
Yeah.
I. And,
Yeah, they
in
need
our
to
old
take care of
age.
us now. I keep telling Kyle he needs to build that mother-in-law for his mother apartment on his back for me.
Yeah, you got to have somebody take care of you,
That's
right?
right. He kicked my rear to keep me going.
Yeah.
But
And let me stress something. I don't want people to get side railed about this whole school security thing. We have a lot of people that are really working through this process, and it's something the state has imposed on us. But
in a
we-
very short time limit.
Right, and we have to get through it, and we will get through it. And once we get behind it, everything's gonna keep moving. But I don't want us to think that we're cutting each other down and we're at each other's throats. That's not the case. We all deeply care about what's going on, and when something this important is on the table to consider, well, people get very passionate. So
I think there's a lot of passion out there about it. I just don't want social media to make the decision. I
Right.
want them to listen to everybody.
well, thanks for saying that, because I encourage you to come out and, we have public comments. I encourage people to come out and make public comments. That's
Somebody
how our
may
board
come
is
up with
enforced.
something that nobody's thought about.
Well,
And,
speaking of social media, it'll be on YouTube Live today.
right?
So if you
And-
can't make it downtown, you can watch it on YouTube Live.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll stream it live, and that way you can at least tune in. But if you want to come in person and say something, Yeah,
Do you,
definitely
and
do that.
don't forget, you have to fill out a card to do that
Right.
and get that turned in. And we need and I know Rick's not going to answer this, so we'll get it from the background. The YouTube location,
Putnam Schools TV.
Putnam Schools TV, so you can get it there.
And you'll see the live one. You'll see recordings from previous events, but it'll show live in red, and you'll know that's the one to click on.
Yeah, you can always go back and watch it after the fact too.
You can,
Yeah.
that's right.
But just stay informed, and call your school board member if you need to, and talk to them personally.
Well, and those of us that don't have kids in school yet, or still in school, it's still our turn to help take care of the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to remember, somebody paid for years to go to school. Now it's your turn to pay for the next generation.
Well, every district in Florida is addressing this in their own way, and we're doing it in our own way, and what's best for our community. So, we want people to be a part of that.
So you'll come back and tell us the outcome.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be here every 2 weeks, and if you need me before then,
Well, come back and let us know next
yeah,
week.
yeah, just call me or catch me when I'm driving by or something. I'll
I will.
stop in.
Yeah, we'll start hollering in the morning. Rick, come in, come in.
Have coffee and donuts, and I'll be here for
Oh, well,
sure.
no, we don't have donuts. Donuts are not allowed in the building.
All right, coffee and bacon and eggs.
Well,
Yeah, right,
you have to
right.
be here about 10 o'clock to get that.
Well, thank you, Rick. Rick Surrency, our school superintendent, and big meeting today. Special meeting at 3, and then the regular meeting at 3:30.
Yeah.
You can catch it on YouTube Live at Putnam Schools TV.
All right.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks for
guys.
coming
Good seeing
in.
you.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.